The night shift was always quiet on Kepler 442b. Park Jiho liked it that way. While the day side of the planet burned under two bright suns, the night side stayed cold and dark. The research station sat right between them, in the gray area where it was never fully day or night. Jiho walked through the metal halls of the station. His boots made soft sounds on the floor. Everyone else was sleeping. The day shift workers were tired from working under the hot lights. The scientists were in their beds, dreaming about their research. Only Jiho was awake, checking the machines that kept them all alive. He stopped at the air processor room. The big machine hummed loudly. It took the thin air from outside and made it thick enough for humans to breathe. Without it, everyone on. The station would die in minutes. The control screen showed a red light. Something was wrong. Not again, Jiho said to himself. This was the third time this month. The machine was old, and the company that sent them here was too cheap to buy a new one. Jiho put on his work suit and helmet. The suit was thick and warm. The helmet had bright lights on the front. He grabbed his tool bag and headed for the door that led outside. The cold hit him right away, even through his suit. The temperature outside was minus 40 degrees. His breath made fog on his helmet screen. He turned on his lights and walked toward the air processor building. The building was dark inside. Jiho's lights cut through the darkness like white swords. He found the main unit and opened the metal cover. Inside, wires and tubes ran everywhere. One of the tubes had a small crack in it. Cold air was leaking out. Easy fix, he said. He reached into his bag for tape and sealant. As he worked, his helmet scanner beeped. The sound was soft but steady. Jiho looked at the small screen on his arm. The scanner showed heat signatures around him. It was supposed to help him find hot spots in the machinery. But the scanner was showing something strange. There was a heat signature moving in the caves below the building. It was warm, like a person, but no one was supposed to be down there. Jiho finished fixing the tube and stood up. The beeping continued. He looked at the scanner again. The heat signature was still there, about 50 feet below ground. Maybe it's an animal, he thought. The scientist had found some small creatures that lived in the caves. They were warm-blooded and about the size of cats. But this signature was much bigger. It was human-sized. Jiho was curious. His job was to fix machines, not explore caves. But he had been working on this planet for 2 years and he was bored. Every day was the same. Fix machines, eat food, sleep, repeat. Finding something new would be exciting. He walked around the building until he found the cave entrance. It was just a crack in the rock, barely wide enough for a person. The scientists had put a metal fence around it with a sign that said, "Danger, unstable ground." But Jiho's scanner showed the heat. Signature was definitely inside. Someone or something was down there. He squeezed through the fence and into the cave. His lights showed rough stone walls and a path that went down into darkness. The air was warmer here, protected from the cold wind outside. Jiho followed the scanner, beeping deeper into the cave. The path twisted and turned. Sometimes it was so narrow he had to turn sideways to fit through. Other times it opened into big rooms with high ceilings. After 20 minutes of walking, the beeping got faster. He was close. Jiho turned off his main lights and switched to the small red light on his helmet. Red light was dimmer and would not scare away any animals. He moved slowly around a corner and saw her. A woman was sitting against the cave wall. She was thin and pale, with long black hair that covered most of her face. She wore clothes made from animal skins. Her eyes were closed and she was shivering. But she was not human. Her skin was gray-white, like moonlight. Her arms and legs were too long for her body. Her fingers ended in sharp points. When she breathed, Jiho could see that her teeth were pointed too. The woman's eyes opened suddenly. They were completely black, with no white parts at all. When Jiho's red light hit her, she screamed. It was not a human scream. It was high and sharp, like metal breaking. She threw her hands up to cover her face and pressed herself against the cave wall. "No, no, the burning light," she cried, in a voice that was almost human, but not quite. "Please, no burning." Jiho quickly turned off his red light. The cave became completely dark. "It's okay," he said softly. "I won't hurt you. I'm sorry about the light." The woman stopped screaming, but he could hear her crying. She was making soft sounds like a hurt animal. "Who are you?" Jiho asked. "What are you doing here?" For a long time she did not answer. Then she spoke in broken English, like someone who had learned the language from old recordings. "I am Kira," she said. "I hide from the sky eyes, the burning sky eyes that kill my people." "Sky eyes?" Jiho asked. "Do you mean the moons?" "Yes," Kira whispered. "The twin moons. Their light burns us, makes us die with fire inside." Jiho looked up, though he could not see the cave ceiling in the darkness. Above them, far above the ground, two small moons moved across the sky. They were not very bright, much dimmer than Earth's moon. He had never thought they could hurt anyone. "How long have you been hiding here?" he asked. "Many days. Maybe 20? I lost count. I came here when the food finders went to the deep caves. I could not keep up, too weak, too hungry." Jiho felt sorry for her. She sounded young and scared. Whatever she was alone and starving. "I have food," he said. "In my station. I could bring you some." "You would help me?" Kira sounded surprised. "But I am not your kind." "That doesn't matter," Jiho said. "You're hungry and I have food. That's all that matters." In the darkness, he heard her start to cry again. But this time the sounds were different. Not scared crying, but grateful crying. "No one has been kind to me in so long," she whispered. Jiho smiled, though she could not see it in the dark. "Well, that changes today." Jiho came back to the cave 3 days later. He carried a bag full of food and water. He also brought a blanket and some warm clothes that might fit Kira. He found her in the same spot, curled up against the cave wall. She looked weaker than before. Her gray skin was almost white now and her breathing was slow. "Kira?" he called softly. "I brought food." Her black eyes opened. When she saw him, she tried to smile. "You came back. I thought maybe I dreamed you." Jiho sat down near her, but not too close. He did not want to scare her. He pulled out a bottle of water and some bread. "Here," he said. "Drink slowly." Kira took the water with shaking hands. She drank a little, then a little more. The water seemed to give her strength. She sat up straighter and looked at the food. "What is this?" she asked, pointing at the bread. "Bread. It's made from plants. Safe to eat." She took a small bite. Her eyes went wide. "It's good. Sweet." Jiho watched her eat. She was very thin, like she had not eaten in weeks. "Tell me about your people," he said. What did you call them?" "Umbari," Kira said between bites. "We are the shadow people. We live in the deep places where the sky eyes cannot reach. Why do the moons hurt you?" Kira stopped eating. Her face became sad. "Long ago our people did something wrong, something very bad. The gods were angry. They cursed us. Now when the twin moons shine on us, we burn from inside. The heat kills us." "What did your people do wrong?" "I don't know," Kira said. "The elders know, but they won't tell the young ones. They say it's too terrible to speak about." Jiho thought about this. It sounded like a story, not real history, but he did not want to argue with her. "How many of you are there?" he asked. "Not many. Maybe a few hundred on this whole world. We live in small groups, always moving, always hiding. When the moons are full, we must go very deep underground." They talked for an hour. Kira told him about her life in the caves, how her people found food by catching small animals, how they made clothes from animal skins, how the children learned to fear the light from the time they could walk. "I had a brother," she said quietly. "Bam. He was younger than me. One night he went outside when the moons were bright. He wanted to see the surface world. The light touched him and he started burning. He screamed for hours before he died." Jiho felt sick. "I'm sorry. That's why I'm so afraid," Kira said. Even your small lights hurt me, but I can bear it if the light is not too bright. Jiho visited her every few days after that. He brought food and clean water. Sometimes he brought books with pictures to show her what Earth looked like. Kira was very curious about the outside world. Your people live under the sun every day? She asked, looking at a picture of a beach. Yes, the sun gives us energy, makes us healthy. That's strange, she said. Light hurts us, but it helps you. After 2 weeks, Jiho began to think of Kira as a friend. She was smart and funny even though her life was hard. She asked lots of questions about humans and technology. Why do you work alone at night? She asked him one day. I like the quiet, Jiho said. And the machines break down more, often in the cold. Someone needs to fix them. Are you not lonely? Jiho thought about it. Sometimes, but I have you to talk to now. Kira smiled. It was the first real smile he had seen from her. I'm glad you found me. But their secret friendship was about to be discovered. Lee Minho was the station commander. He was a good leader, but he was also very careful about rules. He had noticed that Jiho was using more food than usual. He had also seen Jiho going outside during his breaks. One night, Minho decided to follow him. Jiho was walking to the cave with a bag of food when he heard footsteps behind him. He turned around and saw Minho's helmet lights. Jiho, Minho called. What are you doing out here? Jiho's heart started beating fast. Just checking the equipment. With a bag of food? Minho walked closer. He was wearing his work suit and carrying a powerful searchlight, the kind used for emergency rescues. Commander, Jiho said. I can explain. I hope so, Minho said, because taking supplies without permission is against regulations. Jiho knew he had to tell the truth. There's someone in the cave, someone who needs help. Someone? Who? Her name is Kira. She's not human, but she's friendly. She's been hiding here because she's afraid of the moonlight. Minho stared at him. Are you saying you found an alien? Yes. But Commander, you have to be careful with your lights. They hurt her. Minho was not listening. His eyes were wide with excitement. First contact with an alien species would make him famous. It would be the biggest discovery in human history. Show me, he said. Promise me you'll keep your lights dim. Jiho said. Yes, yes. Just show me. They went into the cave together. Jiho led the way, using his small red light. Minho followed with his big searchlight turned off. When they reached Kira's hiding spot, she was sleeping. Jiho called her name softly. Kira? I brought someone to meet you. A friend. Kira woke up and saw the two humans. She looked scared. It's okay, Jiho said. This is Commander Minho. He leads our station. Hello, Minho said. He was trying to sound calm, but his voice was shaking with excitement. Kira nodded, but did not speak. She could sense that something was different about this human. Incredible, Minho whispered. She's really not human. The skin color, the proportions. This is amazing. He reached for his searchlight. I need to document this. Take pictures. For the report. No, Jiho said. Don't use the bright light. But Minho was too excited to listen. He turned on his searchlight and pointed it at Kira. The bright white beam hit her like a hammer. Kira screamed and fell to the ground. Her body began to shake violently. Turn it off, Jiho shouted. But something strange was happening. Instead of dying, Kira's skin began to glow. A soft silver light came from inside her body. Her eyes, which had been completely black, now shone like stars. The screaming stopped. Kira sat up slowly, looking at her hands in wonder. The glow was getting brighter. What's happening to her? Minho whispered. Kira looked up at them. Her face was different now, more alert, more alive. I can see, she said in a voice that was clearer than before. I can see everything. The light inside her pulsed like a heartbeat. She was not dying from the bright light. She was changing. The burning, she whispered. It's not pain. It's waking up. Kira's skin kept glowing for 3 hours. The silver light pulsed under her gray skin like a slow heartbeat. Jiho and Commander Minho stayed with her in the cave, watching in amazement. "How do you feel?" Jiho asked. Kira looked at her hands. The sharp fingernails had become normal. Her 2 long arms and legs now looked the right size for her body. "Different," she said. "I can see colors I never saw before, and I can hear sounds from far away, very far away." "What kind of sounds?" Minho asked. Kira closed her eyes and listened. "My people. They're calling to each other in the deep caves. I can hear their voices in my mind." This was impossible. The nearest Umbari caves were hundreds of miles away. "Can you talk back to them?" Jiho asked. Kira nodded. She closed her eyes again. Her skin grew brighter for a moment. Then she opened her eyes and smiled. "I told them I'm safe. They're confused. They want to know why I'm not dead." Over the next few days, Kira's changes became more obvious. She was stronger and faster. She could see perfectly in complete darkness. She could feel the electric fields from the station's machines through the cave walls. But the biggest change was her mind. She could remember things her grandmother had told her years ago. Old stories that had seemed like fairy tales now felt like real memories. "I need to find Grandmother Hana," Kira said on the 4th day. "She's the oldest of our people. She might know what's happening to me." "Where is she?" Jiho asked. 3 days' walk to the east. In the deep caves under the old mountains. Minho had been quiet for most of the week. He was writing reports and trying to understand what he had seen. Now he spoke up. "I'll come with you," he said. "We need to study this. If light can change you, maybe it can help other Umbari too." Kira looked worried. "The light might kill them. I might be different. Special somehow. Or maybe," Jiho said, "you're normal. Maybe all Umbari are supposed to be like this." The trip to find Hana took 4 days. They had to travel at night and hide during the day when the twin moons were bright. Kira could now handle dim light, but she was still afraid of the full moon's power. The caves under the old mountains were deep and twisted. Water dripped from the ceiling, and strange plants grew in the wet soil. Some of the plants glowed with their own light, but it was soft and green, not like the harsh white light that had changed Kira. They found Hana in a large cave room. She was sitting by a small fire, cooking something that smelled like mushrooms. She was very old, with white hair and deep lines on her face. When she saw Kira, she gasped. "Child," she said in the Umbari language, "what has happened to you? You shine like the ancestors in the old stories." Kira spoke to her in their own language for several minutes. Hana listened with wide eyes. Sometimes she looked at Jiho and Minho with fear, sometimes with curiosity. "She wants to know if you're going to hurt her," Kira translated. "No," Jiho said. "We want to help." Hana spoke again. Her voice was shaky. "She says the light curse is supposed to kill us. That's what the elders have always taught. But you don't look dead." "I feel more alive than ever," Kira said. "Grandmother, I think the stories we learned are wrong." Hana was quiet for a long time. She stared at Kira's glowing skin and bright eyes. "There are older stories," she finally said in broken English. "Stories my grandmother told me when I was very young. But the elders said those stories were lies." "What stories?" Minho asked. Hana looked afraid. "Stories about the time before the curse. When our people lived in great cities and flew between the stars. When we were strong and wise and beautiful." "What happened to those cities?" Jiho asked. "The Kethmori came," Hana whispered. "The Black Ship's people. They wanted to make us into slaves. They changed our bodies, made us weak and afraid of light. For 1,000 years, we have been hiding in the dark." Kira translated for the parts. Hana said in Umbari. The old woman's story was terrible. The Kethmori had found the Umbari's homeworld long ago. They had used advanced science to change the Umbari's bodies, making them afraid of the very light that gave them power. "They made us forget who we really were," Hana said. "They told us we were cursed by the gods for being proud and evil. But it was a lie. We were never cursed, we were stolen." "Can you prove this?" Minho asked. Hana nodded slowly. If the human is right, if light makes us strong instead of dead, then I will know the truth. It's dangerous, Jiho warned. We don't know what will happen. I am old, Hana said. I have lived in fear for 200 years. If I die learning the truth, that's better than living with lies. They set up the experiment carefully. Minho had brought a portable light from the station. It was not as bright as his searchlight, but it was stronger than Jiho's helmet lamp. Hana sat in the center of the cave room. Kira held her hand. Jiho and Minho stood ready to turn off the light if something went wrong. Are you ready? Minho asked. Hana nodded. Turn on the light. The beam hit Hana and she screamed, but it was not a scream of pain. It was a scream of surprise and joy. Light exploded from her old body. The wrinkles on her face faded. Her white hair became black again. Her bent back straightened. She looked 50 years younger. I remember, she said in a voice that was strong and clear. I remember everything. Hana stood up and her eyes were shining like stars. We were the guardians. We protected worlds from the dark ones who would destroy them. We could see across space and time. We could heal planets and make them green again. She looked at her, hands which were now smooth and strong. The Kethemori were afraid of us, so they broke our minds and bodies. They made us forget our purpose. They made us hide in caves like animals. How many of your people are still alive? Minho asked. Hundreds on this world. Thousands on other worlds where the Kethemori took us, all of them living in darkness, afraid of the light that would set them free. Kira squeezed her grandmother's hand. Can we free them all? Hana smiled. Yes, child, but first we must be ready. The Kethemori still watch us. When they see that we are awakening, they will come to stop us. Then we need to wake up as many Umbari as possible, Jiho said, before the Kethemori find out. How? Minho asked. Hana closed her eyes and reached out with her new mental powers. She could feel other Umbari all across the planet, hiding in their dark caves. I can call to them, she said. Tell them to come here, but it will take time and it will be dangerous. The Kethemori have machines that listen for our mental voices. Then we need to work fast, Jiho said. Hana opened her eyes and looked at the two humans. Why are you helping us? You could get in trouble with the Kethemori. Jiho thought about it. Because it's the right thing to do. No one should have to live in fear and darkness when they could be free. Hana smiled. You humans are strange, but you have good hearts. Outside the cave, the twin moons were rising. For the first time in 1,000 years, their light would bring hope instead of terror to the Umbari people. 3 weeks after Hana's transformation, everything went wrong. A new ship appeared in the sky above Kepler 442b. It was black and shaped like a knife. The humans at the research station had never seen anything like it. Commander, the radio operator, called. We're getting a message from the unknown ship. Minho ran to the radio room. Jiho and the station's doctor, Kim Sola, followed him. They had been working with Hana to understand more about Umbari biology. Put it on speaker, Minho said. A voice came through the radio. It was cold and mechanical, speaking perfect English. Human station. This is Scout Veltar of the Kethemori Empire. We know you have been interfering with our property. You will... Stop immediately. Minho grabbed the microphone. This is Commander Lee Minho. We don't know what you're talking about. Do not lie to us, human. We can detect the mental signals of awakened Umbari on your planet. You have violated the Genetic Suppression Treaty of Galactic Year 4847. What treaty? Minho asked. We never signed any treaty with you. Your species was not part of the treaty, but the Umbari belong to us. They are our property. We created them to serve us. Jiho grabbed the microphone from Minho. People aren't property. The Umbari are free beings. Veltar laughed. It was a horrible sound. Humans, so young and stupid. The Umbari were made to be slaves. For 1,000 years, they have provided us with rare biological compounds. We will not allow you to ruin our investment. What compounds? Dr. Sola asked. The chemicals their suppressed brains produce. Very valuable for medicine and enhancement drugs. When they are awakened, they stop making these chemicals. They become useless to us. Minho felt sick. The Kethmori were not just slavers. They were drug dealers who used an entire species as living factories. "We will not give them back to you," Minho said. "You have no choice. Our ship has weapons that can destroy your station and this entire continent. You have 1 day to deliver all awakened Umbari to us. If you refuse, we will take them by force." The radio went quiet. Dr. Sola looked at the data on her computer screen. "Commander, I've been studying the awakened Umbari. Their brain chemistry is completely different now. They're not just stronger and smarter. They're connected to some kind of planetary energy field." "What does that mean?" Jiho asked. "I'm not sure yet, but I think they might have abilities we haven't discovered." Minho made a decision. "Get everyone together, all the station crew, and bring Hana and Kira too. We need to talk." An hour later, 15 humans and 2 Umbari sat in the station's main meeting room. Minho explained the situation. "So we have a choice," he said. "Give up our friends to the slavers, or fight a ship that could destroy us all." "We can't give them up," Dr. Sola said. "What the Kethmori are doing is wrong." "But we can't fight them either," said Chief Engineer Park Dong-yun. "We have no weapons. This is a research station, not a military base." Hana spoke up. "There is another way. If we can awaken more of my people quickly, we might be able to defend ourselves." "How?" Minho asked. Kira answered. "When we are awakened, we can see and control energy fields, electromagnetic fields, gravity fields, even the planet's magnetic field. If enough of us are awakened at the same time, we could disable their ship." Hana finished. Jiho leaned forward. "How many Umbari would you need?" "At least 50, maybe more. And they would all need to be awakened at exactly the same time, so their mental connections would be strong." "Where are they?" Dr. Sola asked. Hana closed her eyes and reached out with her mind. "I can feel them, scattered across the continent in deep caves. Some are very far away." "Can you call them here?" Minho asked. "Not fast enough. It would take weeks for them to travel safely. We only have 1 day." The room was quiet. Everyone was thinking hard, but no one had a solution. Then Jiho had an idea. "What if we brought the light to them?" "What do you mean?" Dr. Sola asked. "The atmospheric processors. They create artificial weather patterns across the whole continent. What if we could make them produce light instead of just air pressure?" Engineer Dongyun looked thoughtful. "It might be possible. The processors use ionization beams to create clouds. If we modified them to produce the right wavelength of light, the twin moon's light," Kira said excitedly. "If we could copy that exact light and send it into all the caves at once, we could awaken every Umbari on the continent." At the same time, Hana finished. Dr. Sola was already working on her computer. "I have the spectrum analysis of moonlight from our sensors. The specific wavelengths that trigger the transformation are—" She paused. "This is strange." "What?" Minho asked. "The light that awakens the Umbari isn't natural moonlight. It's artificial. Someone modified this planet's moons to produce specific frequencies." "The Kethmori," Hana said bitterly. "They put machines in the moons to control us. When they wanted to punish us, they would make the moons bright. When they wanted us to work, they would make them dim." "But that means we can copy the frequency," Jiho said. "We can make our own awakening light." For the rest of the day, they worked frantically. Engineers modified the atmospheric processors. Dr. Sola programmed the exact light frequency needed. Hana used her mental abilities to contact Umbarian caves across the continent, telling them to be ready. As the sun set, everything was ready, but they had a problem. "The Kethmori ship is scanning us," Communications Officer Lee Suman reported. "They know we're planning something." Through the window, they could see the black ship moving closer to the planet. Red lights blinked along, its hull like angry eyes. "How long until they attack?" Minho asked. "Based on their position and speed, maybe 2 hours. The light storm will take 3 hours to reach all the caves," Engineer Dong-hyun said. Then we need to buy more time, Jiho said. How? Hana stood up. Her eyes were glowing silver. Let me talk to them. Veltar knows me. My people have dealt with the Kethmori for 1,000 years. Maybe I can convince him to wait. It's too dangerous, Kira said. No, Hana said firmly. This is what leaders do. They take risks to protect their people, Minho nodded. Open a channel to the Kethmori ship. A moment later, Veltar's cold voice filled the room. Humans, have you decided to surrender the awakened ones? This is Hana of the Umbari, Hana said, in a strong voice. I wish to speak with you, Veltar. There was a long pause. Ancient One, I am surprised you still live, and surprised that you dare to defy us. I remember the old agreements, Veltar, the ones your people made with mine long ago. Before the suppression, we had rights then. Those agreements are void. Your people are property now. But the agreements still exist in the Galactic Council records. If you destroy humans without cause, the Council will investigate. They will find the old treaties. They will learn what you have done to us. Another pause. Longer this time. You try to be clever, Ancient One, but it will not work. I give you 2 more hours. Then we take what belongs to us. The channel closed. 2 hours, Minho said. Will it be enough? Hana smiled. It will have to be. Begin the light storm. Across the continent, the atmospheric processors hummed to life. They sent beams of artificial moonlight deep into the earth, carrying the frequency of freedom to hundreds of Umbari who had lived in darkness for 1,000 years. In caves scattered across thousands of miles, the awakening began. The awakening began at exactly midnight. Deep in caves across the continent, Umbari who had lived in darkness for their entire lives suddenly saw light. But this was not the terrible burning light they feared. This was the light of freedom. The research station, Hana stood with her eyes closed, feeling the mental connections form across hundreds of miles. Each awakened Umbari was like a new star appearing in her mind. How many? Dr. Sola asked. 30, Hana said. 40. 50. Her voice grew stronger with each number. 60. 70. They're all connecting to each other. I can feel their minds joining together. On the main screen, they could see the Kethmori ship getting closer. Its red lights were brighter now, and weapon ports were opening along its black hull. 1 hour until they reach us, Engineer Dongyun reported. The awakening is only half finished, Kira said. She was also connected to the growing mental network. We need more time. Minho grabbed the radio. All stations, this is the commander. Prepare for possible attack. Move all civilians to the underground shelter. But Jiho had a different idea. What if we don't hide? What if we make them think we're surrendering? What do you mean? Minho asked. We go outside. Make it look like we're bringing Kira and Hana to them. Buy more time for the awakening to finish. That's too dangerous, Dr. Sola said. Everything we're doing is dangerous, Jiho replied. But if it saves hundreds of people, it's worth the risk. Hana opened her eyes. They were blazing with silver light. The boy is right. I will go. We all will, Minho said. We're in this together. The Kethmori ship landed in the open area outside the research station. It was huge, bigger than 3 buildings put together. Steam hissed from its landing legs and the metal hull was covered in strange symbols. A ramp lowered from the ship's belly. Veltar walked down, followed by 6 other Kethmori soldiers. Veltar was tall and thin, with gray skin and forearms. His face was narrow and cruel, with small black eyes and a mouth full of sharp teeth. He wore dark armor that seemed to absorb light. The humans walked out to meet him. Hana and Kira walked between them, but they were not prisoners. They were partners. You are wise to surrender, Veltar said. His voice was cold and mechanical. Give us the awakened ones, and we will not harm your station. We want to negotiate, Minho said. Veltar laughed. Humans do not negotiate with the Kethmori Empire. You give us what we want, or we take it. What if we offered you something better? Dr. Sola asked. Nothing is better than awakened Umbari. Their brain chemistry is unique in the galaxy. What about the formula to create that chemistry artificially? Dr. Sola held up a data pad. I've been studying the transformation process. I think I can copy it in a laboratory. This was a lie, but Veltar didn't know that. His small eyes grew interested. Show me this formula. Dr. Sola started explaining, fake science using big words and complicated charts. Veltar listened carefully, trying to understand if this was real. While they talked, the awakening continued in caves across the continent. Hana could feel the mental network growing stronger. 90 Umbari, 100, 120. But Veltar was getting suspicious. Enough, he said suddenly. This is a trick. You are trying to delay us. He turned to his soldiers. Take the awakened ones. Kill the humans. The Kethmori soldiers raised their weapons. Strange energy rifles that glowed with purple light. Now would be good, Jiho whispered to Hana. Hana smiled. Now is perfect. She closed her eyes and spoke to the mental network. 137 awakened Umbari across the continent focused their minds on a single target. The Kethmori ship. Electricity started dancing across the ship's hull. The red lights flickered and went out. Inside the ship, alarms started blaring. What's happening? Veltar shouted. We're happening, Kira said. Her skin was glowing brighter than ever. All of us, together. The awakened Umbari were using their mental powers to control electromagnetic fields. They found the ship's power systems and started overloading them. Circuits exploded in showers of sparks. Computer screens went dark. The weapons systems shut down. Veltar's soldiers tried to fire their rifles, but the weapons were dead. The electromagnetic interference had disabled all their technology. Impossible, Veltar said. The suppression should have made this impossible. The suppression is broken, Hana said. Your 1,000-year lie is finished. More light began appearing around the research station. Not artificial light from machines, but natural light from awakened Umbari. They were emerging from caves and underground tunnels, walking in the open for the first time in generations. An old male Umbari walked up to Veltar. He was tall and strong, with silver light flowing under his skin. I am Ray, he said, leader of the northern clans. I remember you, Veltar. You were there when your people broke our minds. You should be dead, Veltar said. The exposure should have killed you. The exposure freed us, Ray said, just like it was supposed to, before you made us afraid of our own power. More Umbari appeared, men and women and children, all glowing with inner light. They surrounded the Kethmori soldiers, but they were not threatening. They were just standing there, showing that they were no longer afraid. We were the guardians of worlds, Ray continued. We could see across space and time. We could heal dying planets and protect them from danger. You were afraid of our power, so you tried to take it away. It worked for 1,000 years, Veltar said bitterly. But it didn't work forever, Hana said. Because one human was curious. One human was kind. One human saw past our strange appearance and offered help to someone who needed it. She looked at Jiho. Your people have a gift, young human. You see suffering and you want to stop it. You see injustice and you want to fix it. That's a rare thing in the galaxy. Jiho felt embarrassed but proud. We just did what was right. The awakened Umbari were now using their powers to completely shut down the Kethmori ship. Every system was offline. The ship couldn't fly, couldn't communicate, couldn't fight. What do we do with them? Ray asked, pointing at Veltar and his soldiers. We let them go, Hana said. But first, they're going to help us contact every Kethmori slave facility in the galaxy. They're going to tell the other Umbari how to break free. We will never help you, Veltar said. Kira stepped forward. Her mental powers were stronger than anyone's. She looked into Veltar's mind and found the information they needed. "We don't need your help," she said. "I can see the locations of all the slave worlds in your memory. I can contact our people directly." She closed her eyes and reached out across space. Her mental voice carried by the strange energy that connected all awakened Umbari. On distant worlds in dark caves and underground factories, Umbari heard her message. The light of freedom was coming to them too. 6 months later, Jiho stood on the observation deck of the new joint human-Umbari research station. Through the window, he could see the twin moons rising over the horizon. But now, instead of bringing fear, they brought hope. The moonlight shone down on a bustling settlement. Humans and Umbari worked together, building homes and laboratories. Children of both species played in the streets, learning from each other. "The first ship from Earth arrives next week," Kira said, joining him at the window. "And 3 more Umbari worlds have been liberated." "How many more to go?" Jiho asked. 47 that we know of. But every day more awakened Umbari join our network. Every day we get stronger." Jiho smiled. "And the Kethmori?" "Afraid," Kira said with satisfaction. "Very afraid. They never expected their slaves to have friends, especially friends as stubborn as humans." Outside, the twin moons reached their highest point. Their light fell on the settlement like a blessing. For the first time in 1,000 years, the Umbari could stand under the night sky without fear, and in the caves that had once been prisons, there was nothing but empty darkness. The shadow people had finally stepped into the light.